Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Long Live Rock and Roll by Rainbow. And as you can see, I have the double gatefold version across my wall, and this is just the standard version. Yeah, there's a couple of copies of this album on vinyl in my house. There's also a CD one as well, but I just, like the bigness of the cover on the vinyl version. But yes, so this is Rainbow's third studio album, of course, and it was released in, I'm not quite sure, 1978, yeah, 1978, and it was the last to feature Ronnie James Dio on vocals. And as usual with Rainbow, there was some other lineup changes. No two lineups of Rainbow for albums have ever been the same. So the lineup changes where Bob Daisley was on bass, and even though Blackmore actually played most of the bass on this album, and then David Stone replaced the wonderful Tony Carey on keyboards. So let's go through the track listing. Long Live Rock and Roll, Lady of the Lake, LA Connection, Gates of Babylon, Kill the King, The Shed, brackets Subtle, Sensitive to Light, and Rainbow Eyes. So, Long Live Rock and Roll, the title track, starts out this classic album, and it starts out with another Blackmore classic riff before the superb voice of Dio comes bellowing in, and his voice just has such a passion on this song, and you're just blown away by how completely he dominates the song with his voice, and at the end you barely remember that anyone else was actually playing, even though Richie's riff is a classic and he plays a superb solo in the middle. I'd say this is probably my favourite song on the album, and the chorus especially is just so catchy. It's one of the greatest starts, I think, to an album ever, and it really does just start the album out with a big bang, which I think doesn't fade for the remainder of this classic album. Then we get to Lady of the Lake, and this starts out with yet another Blackmore classic riff. This album is just covered in Blackmore classic riffs. It really is saturated with them. Every song has such a good riff. And again, this song has another chorus to die for. It's just so catchy, it's not true. This is just another fabulous piece of music that makes your face light up with a beaming smile every time you hear its sweet sounds, no matter how sad you are. And then we get to LA Connection, and this starts out again with just another great riff. This song especially has a really nice groove to it on the bass and drums, before the grandfather of rock vocals comes in for fiery passion. And again, it's just a wonderful song with a phenomenal solo of Blackmore's that features prominently. And this song again is just dominated by the voice of Dio. And one of the noticeable things on this song is David Stone's piano. He isn't that noticeable in this album, but in this song he's very noticeable and adds a lot to the song. Then we get to Gates of Babylon. And this starts out quietly even, and slowly, with just some keyboards before the rest of the band comes in. This was clearly Dio's favourite song from the album, as it remained in his solo live sets from 2004 until his untimely death in 2010. And, I can certainly see why. Coming in at 6 minutes and 49 seconds, it's an epic rock song with a great chorus and superb overall vocals. You can see that he really enjoyed singing this song, and clearly did till the day he died. And, it's just one of those songs, it's like most Rainbow songs, especially from this album. It has a fabulous guitar solo and catchy as hell chorus. And then if we flip over the disc on vinyl and go to side 2, the beginning of that side is Kill the King, and this is the second best song on the album, and a magnificent opening to side 2. Obviously that's only if you play it on vinyl like I do. And it just starts in such a typical Rainbow style. The lyrics and melody of this song are phenomenal, Ritchie Blackmore once again demonstrates why he is one of the great guitarists of all time. You can hear that this is just a band where all the members are at absolute creative peak, especially Ritchie and Dio. It's just really stunning, absolutely stunning. Then we get to The Shed, and this again continues one of the most consistent albums in history. I mean, what more can I say? This is just such a fine example of hard rock. It's just another wondrous song. And then the second to last track, Sensitive to Lie. It's another song that really should have been a single. It's got a phenomenally catchy chorus along with genius playing of instruments. I mean, what more can I say than it's spectacular? And then the last song on this album, but certainly not least, is Rainbow Eyes. And this is the longest track on the album, coming in at about 7 minutes. And it's a truly haunting ballad. It is very true in the sense of its ballad. It really is just Ritchie Blackmore gently plucking his guitar with a viola and flute behind him. I mean, there are some drums. But the real highlight, though, is the beauty and elegance in Dio's voice on this song, as he captures a perfect haunting quality. This really is the swan song to his time with Rainbow, and it's a wonderful way to end the second chapter of his career, with the first chapter being out from the small bands he had before that. And though Dio would move on to a chapter that's just as good, if not better, this is, still such a great chapter in his life. But of course the next one, the next chapter that we'll move on to tomorrow, he travels through heaven and hell, meeting neon knights in a world where the mob rules for a while before the computer gods take control. And I hope you got all those references. Anyway, Rainbow Eyes, though, it's a magnificent, beautiful swan song. It's just lovely, and a wonderful end to Dio's partnership with the great Ritchie Blackmore. So overall, Long Live Rock and Roll is another classic rock album, just like Rising. And to be honest, I just can't split this and Rising. I love them both just so equally. They're both phenomenal albums. And to be honest, I have really no choice but to give Rainbow's Long Live Rock and Roll a 10 out of 10. And yeah, so we've seen 2 albums so far in the holy quadrilogy of Dio, and there's 2 more, exceptional albums to go out of the 7. I mean, all of the 7 are wonderful albums. But I think Dio really has a holy quadrilogy, and we're certainly going to be covering all of that. So we've done half of that, and let's just say I have a feeling that the next album we visit may overshadow them all. I mean, it is my 3rd favourite album of all time we're visiting next. So, thanks for watching. This has been the Album Man. Comment, rate, subscribe, and so appropriately this time, I have multiple ways I could do it, but long live rock and roll!